I got your little GitHugs thing right here.
Yeah, we should be live now.
No, the participant list is in the way.
Oh, shoot. Okay. We're about to, I put GitHugs. All right, cool. We're started. It looks like we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 96 Boards Open Hours. My name is Robert Wolf. Today is December 6th, and this is episode 126. Today, we will be speaking with Kate, aka GitHugs, on Instagram. I'll be sharing her page in just a moment, and we can kind of talk to her about that as well, of course. But Kate is a software engineer out of New York, and she does a lot of really cool, interesting stuff that we're going to talk to her about. I have a bunch of questions, and of course, anyone in YouTube, anyone here on the call, you're more than welcome to interrupt us and get your questions answered by Kate. But before we introduce her, we're going to hand the mic over to her in just a moment. I do have some announcements here. There are a few things that have happened in the last week since we last spoke. I, of course, like to just kind of give a quick summary of what we talked about last week, and then we'll move into the segment. So maybe I can get a thumbs up from you, Kate. Is that all right? Yeah. So we have a little delay here, but great. So I have a couple blogs I'd like to share that have been posted in the last week, one of which is mainlining efforts on the Orange Pi i96. This is one of the IoT Edition 96 boards. So I'm going to be posting these in the chat. You can go ahead and check them out. Sahaj should be moving them over into YouTube so everyone else can look at them as well. The other one is the Wiz Trio, another IoT board that came out. Sahaj did an unboxing video and wrote a blog about this. It's a really cool new board from Rack Wireless. Definitely recommend checking it out. If you want to know more about this, of course, you can always read the social media posts from 96 Boards, or just message us, honestly, if you like, 96boards.org. Go up to the top under support. There's a Slack channel invite or a Slack channel link. You can go in there and get your questions answered directly from a lot of the people within the 96 Boards ecosystem. 2 new boards were launched yesterday, 2 brand new 96 boards. One is the Parrot. It's called the Parrot, actually. The other one is called the Oxalis. So the Parrot is a consumer edition board, extended version. So it's going to look something like this one right here, extended consumer edition board. And then the other board is an Oxalis board, and that is a enterprise edition board with a little SOM on there from NXP. This is a collaboration between Aero, NXP, and SysStart. We will be doing videos about these boards. We will have guides coming out. And then, of course, I'm hoping to bring some people on from SysStart and Aero and NXP to talk about these boards early in 2019 on Open Hours. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to post the links here for both of these really quickly. So first we have the Parrot. Boom, right there. And next we have the Oxalis board. So go check those out. Last but not least, before we go into the segment, I'm going to share, as promised, Kate, aka GitHugs, Instagram channel. Go check that out. Kate, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's a lot to take a whole hour out of your day to do something like this, so we really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so you're joining us from New York. You're joining us. I'm glitching out here now. But I think the first thing that we like to do before diving into kind of like any technical stuff is getting to know you. So like, is there anything, like little 2-minute elevator pitch about Kate? Who are you? What do you do? You just give us the lowdown.
So like my elevator pitch of my personality is I'm a software engineer for work. Jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. I like hang out with my friends, my husband, my dog, and that's as interesting as it gets.
We are. Are you having the glitches as well? I heard software engineer, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, husband, and dog. Does that sum it up?
That's pretty much Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. That's a pretty good elevator pitch. And you say software engineer. We want to talk about a little bit, your professional. Are you allowed to share what you do, like where you work and a little bit more about this professional aspect of you?
Yeah. Through a contractor. I'm fully immersed at American Express. I can't talk about like what I'm actually doing, but like I can talk high level about like what I do.
Okay. Hey, Kate, I want to try something out, and it's unfortunate because I really like your hair, and I want to keep watching your hair. But is there any way we could turn the video off just to see if this glitchiness stops a little bit?
All right, it's
Let's
off.
let's let's try that out. Um, yeah, I always
Yeah.
get jealous of people with awesome hair because like mine is disappearing very quickly. So like, yeah, I know. That's why I always wear these hats. First time ever taking my hat off on open hours. So Kate, tell us now again, you said high level what you're doing. You said American Express, right? I want to see if this is working now without the video.
Yeah. So I work at American Express. I'm a contractor here, so the company that pays me to work here is called but I'm fully immersed. Like I come here every day. I work with the team. I'm fully immersed here. I can talk at a high level about what I do. I can't like get into nitty gritty like about code bases or like exactly the features that I'm working on at that. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm interested. I have several topics here, and again, I want to remind anyone in YouTube if you have any questions, feel free to bring them up. But I have a few topics I wanted to talk about. You transitioning from working in the service industry into engineering. I want to talk about your coding boot camp. I want to talk about your social media presence. Your coding experience, and then I have a few other kind of questions here as well. But when it comes to kind of still getting to know you a little better, maybe you could kind of cover this actually. People might be listening to this or watching this thinking, hey, I want to know what's going on at American Express or any of these large transaction companies like American Express. So yeah, could you give us a high level?
Yeah, so the team that I work on, it's called the partner team, and what I'm responsible for and my team is responsible for are it sounds so boring, but say you're like on Hilton.com, like and you're going through checkout and you're at the checkout page for the room, and sometimes on those checkout pages you see a banner to get a credit card that's usually a Hilton credit card that's sponsored by like American Express, but it's like a Hilton credit card. This we're responsible for. And then when you click on that banner, you get sent to an application. Those applications is what my team works on also. So it's like super incredibly interesting stuff.
Well, it's pretty niche.
But yeah.
I will say that, you don't realize how much goes into each aspect of that type of stuff, right? I mean, like you need a team to develop those types of things, and it's a lot to do. And I actually was just
Oh
on
yeah,
the Hilton
definitely.
website. I saw something like that.
That's what we're working on.
So I'm gonna probably notice it a lot more now. When you see like I don't know, some say like Volkswagen, whatever. Just like I need Volkswagen Passat. All of a sudden you see just a ton of them because you're starting to look for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Well, so yeah, so let's dive into a little bit about this service to engineering. I think the most interesting part for me to talk to you about is because I can relate fully with this. Well, I hope I can relate fully with this, but um, I also worked in the restaurant business for about 8 years in my path to becoming an engineer. And so I'm kind of curious. I guess the first question for me is, how long did you work in the service industry, and what did you do?
I worked in the service industry pretty much my entire working life since I was like 14. And I've held a lot of positions. I was a host. I was I did a lot of counter service jobs where like you come up to order and we serve you or whatever. I was a bartender most recently for the last like 4 years, and up until last October, I was bartending.
Okay. And so when was it when you were, making a drink or serving a guest that you said, I want to work in tech. I want to start doing software.
Well, actually, it was weird because while I was after graduating college, I had my own wedding photography business for a while, and while I was still like working in the I like photography, I still do, but I was realizing that like I don't like running my own business. I don't like making albums for people like else. I like just taking the pictures and then that's it. So I was struggling with the fact like, no, I feel like I have to start over because I put so much time and energy into being a wedding photographer. What would I like to do if I don't do this or don't do art? And when I deciding if I wanted to go down a science track or down an art track, and I went down the art track. So I was like, you know what, why don't I try the science track? So I enrolled in a couple of courses at Brooklyn College. One of them was a chemistry course, and one of them was an intro to C++ course, because you had to take an intro programming course to take a lot of other science classes. And I was like, this is going to suck. It sounds so boring, but I have to take the other cool classes, and ended up freaking loving it. I was like loving doing my homework. It was so interesting. I dropped the chemistry class. And yeah, that's kind of when I was like, programming, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay. That's actually a good one. So now when you're talking about kind of going to you already graduated college, right? You did it. You said you majored in art. Photography was something that you liked, but you didn't like the admin aspect. You could have hired like an assistant to help do that stuff. And then
Yeah,
now you
I
said
know.
it is what it is. My mom actually does wedding planning as well, and the whole photography aspect is it's a lot of work. It's not something that people can just take very easily. So now you're saying I want to go into tech. You took some classes at your local university or local college, and yet I'm reading about you doing this boot camp. So like this is one of the most interesting things for me here, because there's the traditional route where people take is like, okay, well, I have to go to this 4-year college, and if I don't get this degree, I can't become a software engineer. But I'm curious, what is a boot camp? I've actually really never heard of a boot camp before, so I'm very interested.
Yeah, so I went to a coding boot camp, which is essentially, usually they're like 12 weeks or so, and they teach you web development. They can't teach you things like machine learning or really intense topics, because you actually need time to develop those skills and like learn about theory. It's really for like web development. The reason I chose that route, I took that C++ class and decided I already have a degree. I don't want to wait another 4 years. What are my options? And the one I went to, I actually applied to it one other time before and didn't get in. That class finished it, and in order to pass the entry test to go TAC Reactor.
Okay. Factor. How would this different internet issues? Let's see. Am I moving there? Okay. So the Hack Reactor, how does this differ from any other boot camp? And I'm kind of curious, maybe like, could you tell me just a little bit more about this? How does it differ from like your traditional 4-year? It sounds like you're doing something in 12 weeks. That's one thing. That's pretty quick to learn something. But I mean, I would imagine you have to be pretty self-disciplined in order to really get what you need out of a boot camp.
Oh yeah. So you are learning some computer science fundamentals, but honestly, like not a ton of them. If you're going to learn anything computer science wise, you're going to be doing it on your own most of the time. But it's really the point of boot camps is to make you like, as soon as you get a job, you're able to work at that job. Because usually when you take a 4-year college degree program. You're learning things like C++ and Java, and if you're going to go into like web development, you're going to have to kind of relearn stuff. You're kind of starting at the bottom. So the advantage of like hiring a bootcamp grad is that like they've practiced soft skills, they've worked with others pair programming, and they know the current technologies that your company is going to be working with. So they might not know what binary search trees do really, but like they can learn that and they can start working right away.
Yeah, so I was actually talking with someone on Instagram. They messaged me for some advice on basically getting into engineering, still a student, and they failed one of their classes. And basically, their big question was, I failed this class, can I still be an engineer? And I mean, you know, I guess I'm kind of looking for you also, like to give maybe some advice on your end. We have someone in the YouTube channel saying, hi, I'm a data scientist. I'm interested in improving my software engineering skills. So like, if you could kind of give some advice to someone that says, hey, I want to become a software engineer, but yet I don't know where to start, or maybe I am not really like, I'm not the kind of person that can follow that traditional path. Like, what kind of advice could you give to someone for that?
Well, to someone who said that like they failed the class and like, are they cut out for it? Yes. You don't super smart savant, not us, very smart and talented, but like everyone makes mistakes, everyone fails. Like software engineering is failing over and over and over. That's fine. But if you, in a non-traditional way, whether it be like you want to add it onto learning that you already have, or you just want to switch careers, I always
Yeah. No, you're cutting out again.
tell myself and where did I cut out?
That whole section cut out there. So you're like, if you really want to become a software engineer, and then I was like out of a movie.
It's a secret. So if you really want to become, if you want to become a web engineer in a non-traditional way, I always direct people towards Free Code Camp. That's the route. That's the website that really helped me like solidify certain knowledge and like understand things and learn what I needed to learn in order to get into Hack Reactor. So I will see if you're interested in it. You'll learn a lot of good basic stuff, and then from there you'll maybe a direction of like, I want to go more towards front end or back end or like cloud stuff. So I always say start there.
So this is freecodecamp.org.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share that link here. So yeah, I'll check that out. You know, to be honest, when I was doing my electrical engineering degree, they don't really teach you that much. At least the path that I chose, which was digital signal processing, they don't really teach you that much code. We had one class that taught us C. It was like this basic course that taught you some C, and then most of it was MATLAB, where you're doing some sort of interpreter language. And you know, it really was not, I did not graduate thinking that I was good at coding. And so now, even to this day, I'm doing my day to day, and I don't feel like I'm a coder, you know, like I have to still figure out things all the time just to get basic stuff done. And so, so I might even go check this out. Maybe I'll take some courses here. So, yeah. So then I want to kind of ask you now, kind of moving into social media. Let's see here again. Sender, hello. All right. So I want to ask you some questions about your Instagram, because you kind of came out of nowhere. I was just kind of surfing around. I think someone tagged you in there, and all of a sudden you just kind of blew up quite a bit. So I'm curious, like, what are your plans with Instagram or social media in general? Like, do you have any plans to use this presence for the good of the world?
So short answer, no, I don't have any plans really for GitHugs. The reason I made that account was because I wanted my personal account to just be like fun, friends, family, pictures of just fun stuff, and like my dog. I didn't want it. I wanted to share coding things, and I wanted to connect with people in the Instagram community, because I did see that there was like an Instagram community of like developers, but I didn't want that to be my personal Instagram. So I just made a separate one, and I started sharing, and I was just kind of experimenting with hashtags and like just trying to like talk to people. And then I realized like some your Instagrams, there are other people's stuff, they'll share your posts, and that's how I got like a lot of followers. And I still honestly don't understand some. I don't share a ton. Try to be fun. Maybe people like that. But yeah, my plans for my Instagram are just like make friends and like help keep a track of my journey.
It's fun. Your Instagram's definitely a lot of fun. Let me see if I can share it here. Instagram, GitHugs. I like it. It's almost like color themed as well. You know, you got some fun stuff going on. Let's see. So this is the Instagram channel right here. You do some cool camera work. Like this is like I don't know what
I
filter
like the
you.
same color.
Wait, what happened?
That's that app. That's that app. Glitch or Glitche or however you say it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is
And also
this is
a color.
Polar Seltzer. Look at, so you like My Little Pony? Is that a thing there?
Well, those are the Tokidoki. I actually got rid of those because I had like a clutter and anything on my desk. But I used to collect toys. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I have a friend that's really into Tokidoki. She probably would have loved to get those off of you. But yeah. All right, cool. So let's move into my next topic here that I wanted to talk to you about. And again, I'll remind anyone who has questions for Kate to just speak up or post them in YouTube. So I want to talk to you now about coding and just kind of like get your feel on this, as well as, you know, I'm prompting you for advice for anyone who might be watching. But you know, are there any preferred resources that you may have? Wait, actually, I already asked you for this one. Do you have a favorite coding book? Is there like a book that got you through
Honestly,
the day?
there are really books that other people recommend, so I'll recommend those. But I personally don't learn well from books. I kind of like space out when I read, and it's just it's hard for me to get information. I'm better with like videos or like interactive type of learning. So I mean, I'll recommend like Eloquent JavaScript to people, but I wasn't able to get through it.
Yeah, I bought the Linux Bible. Guillermo is on the call right now. I recommended the Linux Bible for one of like our Christmas episodes. Guillermo, you bought it and you read the whole thing. I still haven't even finished it yet. I'm trying to get through it. It's not an easy book to get through for me. Yeah, it's rough.
I didn't finish it yet either.
Oh, I thought you got through it already. Yeah, but do you like it, or I mean, you said you kind of enjoyed it, right?
Yes, it's a good splash content, but actually after that I bought a couple of other books that I can recommend. One is oriented towards IoT programming on Linux, and the other one I probably need to pick them up and show them. So I need a minute to run out and get those books to show.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I'd love to hear more about some of these books. I always during Christmas I find books this time and then them, but at least I bought them. So let's talk about maybe like some of your personal projects or work projects. I want to know one of your favorite coding projects that you've ever done.
My favorite project was like a really simple one that I made while I was a reactor. You had to do like an MVP like really quickly, and I decided to make a fantasy character generator because I was playing D&D at the time. So that was like if I'm learning a new technology or something, I'll just go back to that project and kind of like Frankenstein it to have that technology with it. So it's always one I go back to.
So you play D&D, not anymore?
I played it last year, and then like the league I was joining ended, and I was meaning to like get back into it. It's just life, busy, but I want to get back into it.
Me and my fiance and some of our close friends were trying to get into it for the first time. We went to Comic-Con and kind of took some classes, like a lesson on it. We did our first D&D. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. So we're thinking about getting into it. So let's see, Guillermo, what books are these?
Okay, I'm back. This is the first one I will recommend. Can you read it?
Mastering Embedded Linux Programming, 2nd edition.
It's really a good guide. Give you really step by step from power up, all the booting process and everything. Even 96 boards is recommended here somewhere as a good platform. Yeah.
96 the book. Oh wow, cool. How about that?
A good guide for somebody who really want to have a crash course and start programming embedded platforms on Linux. Then I bought.
Now we really got to buy that book.
Yeah, now I have to buy.
This other one seems to be a good one. I'm saving it to read over Christmas.
Yeah.
And the final, I think that is a quick go-to for commands. Is this one?
I have that book. I have that one. Yeah, it's a good one. Do you have any of those books, Kate?
No.
No. Okay, cool. Guillermo, thank you for sharing with us those. Yeah, now I'll have to go rewatch the video and snapshot those so that I can go buy them. So Kate, what about open source? I mean, are you familiar? Do you work in open source? Do you have any projects that you've contributed to or projects that you like in the open source ecosystem?
So open source is
You cut out again.
I posted about open source is something that I mean to do but have like never really the year before while I was in Hack Reactor was just updating readmes, and you get a t-shirt for contributing that way.
Oh man, it's so rough because you're cutting out.
Source, yeah.
You're cutting out so much. We only hear like a few words, and then it goes blank, and then we hear a few words. It's like when someone's messing with you on the phone. You're not doing this on purpose, are you?
Yeah. No, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But I still want to try to get this out of you though. You were saying open source, and that it's something you've been wanting to get into, but then we kind of cut out there.
Yeah, so it's something I've been wanting to get into about Hacktoberfest this year, and how I completed it the year before was just by updating readmes for open source projects, because I was at Hacker at the busy, couldn't wrap my head around their code base, the readmes, and that counts towards completing Hacktoberfest. So I shared that on my Instagram, but like actually contributing code, I haven't done yet.
Wow. I didn't know that you could complete Hacktoberfest by contributing to readmes. I might actually do it next year.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool to know. But yeah, so in the open source world, there's a lot of projects that are going on. I'm in the same boat as you. I wish that I had more time to contribute to some of these awesome projects, but I just don't. And one day I hope to.
Yeah.
So I think these are coming up on some of my last questions. I do have just a couple more here. Have you ever heard of 96 boards? Have you ever worked on an embedded system? Like, have you ever worked on any like single board computers? And if so, what do you think? And if not, are you interested in it?
So I've heard I made GitHugs and you came into contact with me. I'm not 100% sure what embedded systems means. Based on you showing that circuit board before with oh, are they Arduinos? Yeah, I've worked with Arduinos. So like my husband and I, he's got a 3D printer and we wanted to make these light up masks for a forest. So he bought the masks and like soldered the lights where we wanted them, and I programmed like the little Arduino thing that he bought to do different. So I've done that.
Nice. Yeah. So I mean, in a way, it's kind of like that. Yeah, Arduino's like a microcontroller, whereas like these boards are a little bit more beefy. You have usually an ARM system on chip module there or a computer, and yeah, there's lots of cool stuff you can do with these things. They're like computers and that fit in the palm of your hand, but they also give you access to all the peripherals. So you get access to like all the I/O. Like imagine if you like take your cell phone, right? But instead of having the camera and all these buttons and everything kind of already just pre-built onto it, you get to kind of build out your experience as you wish, right? But you're using chips that are very powerful, but then you get to kind of experiment and add or remove sensors as you wish. But in essence, I don't know, embedded systems, it's a lot deeper than that. So I'm making it sound very simple. Working embedded systems is a lot deeper. But so I don't know, if you were ever interested, I might be able to send you a 96 boards. Sounds like you and your husband might be able to have some fun with it.
Yeah, we tinker sometimes, yeah.
Nice. So Sahaj, this is kind of coming towards the closing here. Kate, I don't know, Sahaj, do you have any questions at all for Kate? Is he checking his notebook? He's like, oh, Sahaj doesn't have a notebook. Wait, am I muted, Sahaj? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I guess what was the nothing's coming to mind. What was the first code you wrote which made you really excited? Like for me personally, it was the Blinky. Like I've written code before it, but it was the Blinky on a Raspberry Pi when I first saw my code interact with the hardware. That was like my starting point. So like, is there something similar for you?
Class, learning about like basic for loops, I was like, what? And that was really when I started learning about
Yeah, it's funny like how you say that, like kind of the basic for loop is so exciting. You know, I always make fun of AI, right? Like AI, machine learning. This is like this big buzzword and all this crap that's going on around AI and machine learning. It's like I feel that AI and machine learning is just like trillions of if statements. Like that's it. Like if then, or if else. Because that's all we're doing
well,
in our
that's what's
head.
well, that's and if statements, like when you first the bulb goes off in your head where you're like, there's so many applications for this, and maybe that's where machine learning came from.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, I'm walking down a street, right? You know, I look to my left, there's a car coming. If I take 5 steps forward, I might die. If I don't take 5 steps forward, I will probably live. If I turn right, I will experience all sorts of new things. I turn right. Okay, I see a few birds flying overhead, a bank, I don't know. And so all these if statements just start going through your head. That's all it is. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I cracked the code.
That's all we are when it
That's, I
comes
guess,
to-
oversimplifying
That's
it a
all we
bit.
Yeah, that's all we are. Neuron is just a transistor, right? Like
Existence is if statements.
yeah. So so Kate, we can let you go early here unless you have anything else you wanted to talk with us about.
Had any closing thing I wanted to say is that I'm not super active on it, but I try to be. Like if you like send me a question on there, I will get to it eventually. Or a long-winded question, please email me. There are chances that I won't get to my inbox on Instagram because like it's not organized nicely. But yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, no, that's cool. I know we appreciate it. And honestly, once again, thank you so much for your time joining us. Again, I know it's not easy to pull a whole hour out of your day and come spend it doing stuff like this with with us, but we really appreciate it. And you're always welcome back. So if there's anything ever that you end up doing that's fun and interesting, or if your team over at American Express wants to come showcase something on our show, we'd love it. It's always a lot of fun to share things like that with us. So hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I did. I'm gonna try to turn on my video to like say goodbye.
Yeah, and maybe we can take a selfie real quick. So I wanna let everyone else know right now. So we're gonna close out the segment with Kate, but I'm gonna do an unboxing right now. I'll let you all decide which one you want me to unbox. I have 3 new boards here with me, 4 new boards with me. So we'll do an unboxing. We'll do an unboxing as well. So let's see, Kate. We have your. Let me do this. I want to set it up like this.
So what?
Hey, Wojtek, you should turn your camera on so we can get a selfie. You too, John Mark. I saw you join. Oh, the camera's up here.
Yeah. All right. You can't really see it on my camera.
No, if you do this, you can also get a good one just like that. I gotta look up. All right, cool. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. Kate, it was awesome having you.
Yeah.
All right, feel free to stick around for the unboxing.
Fun being here.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to stick around for the unboxing.
Yeah, I might stick around for a couple. Yeah, I might stick around for a couple of minutes.
All right, cool. So I have.
It's brought up the subject of AI. I have another book to recommend.
Uh-oh.
This one, it's Deep Learning. It's by MIT Press.
Oh, you muted. Guillermo, I think you muted yourself back when you put the book down.
Yeah, I forgot to press the space bar. Anyway, this is a really heavyweight book on the subject because most of what you see around are pre-canned algorithms for solving different type of problems. But this is a book about developing those algorithms. It's heavyweight math. And you see the bookmark there, more or less halfway through. It took me 6 months to get there.
Oh, wow.
Reading it on the hope that something sticks to my brain on this.
Yeah,
but
sometimes when
really,
you have to read over and over again. Like you might have to read the same chapter 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, it starts with the XOR logic of 4 bits or 2 bits and how to resolve it with AI algorithms. Very simple, but it scales up very quickly. And the final deep learning is one subchapter that is really, I think, where the technology is heading. And I think that will be the solution to most of the complex problems we are facing on anything from car navigation to solving Bitcoin things and you name it. So I think it's worth to read it and learn it. But I warn you, it's very heavyweight math and matrices, not if and guess, as you were saying. This really is the source of the technology.
Yeah, Guillermo, someone in YouTube is asking, Daniel is asking, could you please write down the author's name? If you could give us the author's name, I'll share it in YouTube. And then also, it looks like Adafruit Industries joined on YouTube, and they have a question about 96 boards. And so I'll just read this out real quick. They're saying, we have over 100 drivers, sensors, motors, etc. for CircuitPython, and we want to add support for 96 boards. What is the most popular 96 boards, and what Linux distro is recommended? So 96 boards is kind of divided into discrete sections. We want to call them verticals, people who might specialize in AI or automotive or robotics. And so there's no real 196 boards that I would say covers every single aspect of this development. However, some of our more popular 96 boards will definitely be the ones that I think you're going to want to focus on. And that would probably be like the Dragon Board 410C, the Rock 960, the Ultra 96. And then we have several other boards that are going to be coming out in the next month or so that will also probably kind of take the cake when it comes to the popularity contest of 96 boards. But this is the Dragon Board 410C, as you can see here. This is running the Snapdragon 410E chipset. But I'll tell you something. If you'd like to reach out to me, I think it would probably be better that we had a kind of talk offline. So I'll share my email. Actually, Sahaj, would you mind posting my email in the YouTube chat? I don't really mind sharing it. So you can email me, Adafruit Industries, whoever's representing that account right now. Please just email me and I'll get back to you. We can schedule a call, because there's a little bit more that goes into. There's a lot actually that goes into kind of getting these distros and stuff enabled for 96 boards. I'll say one thing on that note as well is that kind of these communities that build around each one of these boards, in a lot of ways, the community share within the ecosystem. So you might get a distro that gets enabled on one of our boards, and then they think, and I'm talking like, let's just say like Fedora or OpenSUSE, these people who are enabling these distros in those communities, they see 196 boards, and then all of a sudden they hear that this next one's coming out, and they're like, oh, give us one of those. We want to enable our OS on there as well. And so it definitely is a lot of fun and a lot of things going on.
Yeah, but we standardize on a lot of things. So our whole mezzanine ecosystem will work on pretty much any board, and we have a bunch of boards supported on MRA. So if a mezzanine or a sensor kit basically works on Dragon board that runs on MRA, we can just plug it into a high key and run the exact same code and it will work. So there's a bit of standardization going there. We are trying to kind of increase the scope of the standardization, get more boards in. Some of the boards that were launched recently, like the Ultra 96, had MRA support when they launched. So all of the code just worked when you add the mezzanine.
Yeah, I guess essentially what we're trying to do, just like what Sahaj says, is standardize across all the boards. We want you to be able to work on one SoC one day and then say, oh, I don't want 4 cores anymore, I want 8 cores. And so you can just switch over. All of our libraries are standardized. All of our mezzanines are standardized. So you can just kind of like seamlessly transition your development from one SoC to another. Did you guys hear that? From one SoC to another. All right, so let's vote. Thank you very much, Adafruit Industries, for those questions. And we did share the book title and author there. Please reach out to me. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 boards to choose from, and we're going to do one unboxing today, and then I'll be doing videos of other unboxings after. Sahaj, I'm going to need your help to talk about these boards. So get ready to pull up the website on which one we're going to open. I have a Meerkat. Meerkat is featuring the IMX7 XP. This is built by Novtech and sold by Arrow. You can kind of see all the partners on there. Lots of really cool stuff going on. Analog Devices, Linear, SanDisk, NXP, Novtech. I won't name them all, even though I almost did. I also have the Chameleon 96. Wait, this says CV-SoC board. Oh, no, yeah, sorry. Chameleon 96. There we go. And then this one is an FPGA-based board. Very interesting one. This is actually probably one of the ones I'd like to open, but we'll let the people speak. I have a power over Ethernet mezzanine. This one's not going to be so interesting because you can already kind of see it there. But this is a board that was announced last year that has finally made it to market. This brings power over Ethernet to your 96 boards devices. And then this one that's wrapped in this very fancy trash bag is the Rack Wireless. I believe this is the Rack Wireless. What's the name of that one again?
Wiz Trio.
Wiz Trio, yes, Rack Wireless Wiz Trio. So let's definitely pick one of these. Which one? Guillermo, you've been active. What would you like to see?
The Chameleon.
Chameleon. Okay, cool. So let's unbox the Chameleon. And I have a knife over here. I wonder how I'll do this up in the air like this. We've kind of showed the Chameleon before on OpenHours, but I've never unboxed one that's new. So imagine now, like I usually get engineering samples. So this is, from what I understand, how it would show up at your door. So Zahaj, if you could just pull up the Chameleon website and give us a little bit of a lowdown on this. But this says for engineering development demonstration for evaluation or evaluation only. Now, from what I understand, Novtech, they don't want you putting these boards in your products. These are for evaluation purposes only, which means when you're ready to take your development and your prototypes to product, they want to help you do that. And that's kind of one of the big purposes of 96 boards. We really encourage this path to product. All of our partners want to help you with that. So in a lot of cases, you have some of these other single board computers. There's no real strong path to product. You're working on a chipset or you're working on a development platform that doesn't have that path. You can't just go develop something and then buy an SoC, right? But with these boards, you can, and that they encourage it. All of the components, the entire bill of materials, for the most part, is available for you to purchase. So,
all right, so let's go on the spec run. It's an Intel processor, but it's not x86. It is the Intel Cyclone 5 SoC FPGA. It's a dual-core Cortex A9. And has on the FPGA side of things, so there's a processor side called PS and a programmable logic side called PL. The programmable logic has 110,000 logical elements, which is a lot. So that's the CPU or the FPGA on there. Previously, it was known as the Altera Cyclone 5, but then Intel bought Altera, so Intel Cyclone 5. On the GPU side of things, the GPU entirely runs on the programmable logic, so there's no actual GPU hardware, but HDMI works and there's 2D acceleration. In fact, on the box, it says CV kit or something like that, and that's because they are pushing it as an open CV development platform. That's kind of been a big deal with Cyclone 5 FPGAs, is to use the FPGA to accelerate OpenCV and image detection and all of that stuff. For RAM, it has 112 megabytes of DDR3L, which is more than enough for what the board is actually meant to do. And you have your 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.1, and USB ports and a micro USB for programming it. It also seems that there is another USB 2, and that would be the USB blaster for JTAG, that's to program your FPGA. And The HDMI is 1080p. You have your usual MIPI CSI stuff, and all the other high speed and low speed connectors are according to the 96 port specification. So it runs Linux, and you have a Yocto build for it. You have a build root build for it. Yeah, that's kind of the overview of what it is.
Awesome. Yeah. So looking at this board, I want to kind of go over the components that came in the box. Of course, you get the Chameleon 96, which I think is still a cool name, right? I mean, you're talking about an FPGA, programmable logic, Chameleon. Change your colors, right? That's one of the main components there, of course. Then you have USB to micro USB cable. So this all comes in this box, right? So it shows up at your door. This is what's in the box. This micro USB to USB cable. You have this looks like a
Robert.
Oh, Todd, I recognize that voice.
Can you take quick comment on what you just said?
Of course.
You said the Chameleon matches the product because it changes colors quickly.
No,
I'd be careful about that, because there used to be a movie called Wall Street where the main character's name was Gordon Gekko, as in chameleon. So be careful with this chameleon stuff.
Yeah. No, well, so I mean, isn't it though that chameleons they change their color to kind of adapt to the surroundings, right? To camouflage. We didn't name the board; they named it.
That's what Gordon Gekko did, and he became a billionaire until he got caught.
So buy a chameleon, and then you become a billionaire. Is that the lesson here?
And getting caught is on you.
Yeah.
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah. Thanks, Todd. No, but yeah. So
I have a comment too on that. I remember the guys from Novotech made a presentation on the Chameleon a few episodes back, probably 2-3 months ago, maybe longer. And I remember the guy that saying that the board is a production board, not just an experimentation board or a development board. So it looks like the proposition changed since then.
It could be that, Robert, you got an evaluation only, and it's not for sale. That's why they have that sticker on there.
No, I spoke with Yossi about this,
Okay.
and as far as I know, these boards are intended for evaluation purposes and development. However, they do have the means to push you forward to your product, so that they want to help you get a product out. That's one of the purposes for releasing this board. We might need to clarify that. So maybe let's just say, don't quote me on this, but the box I was delivered, I'm told, is the production ready version, and the production ready version is labeled as such. And then you can also see on the back, there's a sticker here that says, you can't really read it there, but this sticker right here says for evaluation purposes. It'll be interesting. I mean, I am looking forward to seeing more boards come out that are product ready. I mean, the Ultra 96, this is product ready. This board was that you can put this board in your products, right? We got a question, actually. What was this? I was reading, we did an interview with Hackster. Sahaj, you remember that interview we did with Hackster, like a 3-part series? Someone went in there and said, like, what's the difference between this Ultra 96 board and the Raspberry Pi? And I'm like, well, it's not that, so first of all, it's just kind of such a ambiguous question, maybe. The Raspberry Pi doesn't compare at all to the Ultra 96. First of all, it's like an FPGA.
You've got to start with the basics at where it is. I think they're probably just going like, oh, this has a quad core 853, that has a quad core 853. What's the difference? Well, there's a whole lot of difference. There's a big FPGA on there, and that's doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
We need to do another tech talk about these boards, I think, individually, And I think we need to make a comparison video because, you know, I'll be the first to say, like, I love Raspberry Pis. On this board behind me, I have several of them hanging on there. I have a bunch in some drawers downstairs. That's how I learned to get into this kind of single board computers, was with Raspberry Pis. You know, go buy a Raspberry Pi and get your feet wet. But there are very, very big differences between, you know, working on one of these robust development boards with the purpose of development rather the purpose of making or tinkering. So there's a big difference there, and I think we should probably try to cover that, Sahaj. Maybe you and I can make some videos.
Or
yeah, and one other thing that caught my eye was that all the development support, the tool change that they put behind the Chameleon, that seems to be very well organized and very complete. A difference from many other boards that are probably not as good as organized.
Did you end up buying one?
No, not yet. I remember I was asking him if it will run on IoT, and they say no, they are too small fish to deal with Intel on that. But at the same time, I think the other board that you have in there from them is the NXP-based processor, and NXP is joining Microsoft on supporting Windows IoT. So that could be a candidate for that.
Huh.
Robert?
Todd, what's up?
Actually, I have a serious comment on this, and I'm about actually to ask this question. Any chance when you do your re-analysis and your demonstration on all the varieties of boards and products, you could expand the niche more? For example, I probably would want to go with quote unquote a beginner's type board because I'm not an embedded systems engineer, but I would want the capability to advance real rapidly because I'm an expert at Linux sysadmin and DevOps. So no, am I an electrical engineer who's done, you know, board design? No, but am I a high-end, you know what I'm saying? So you might want to come up with a whole bunch of case studies or use cases for who your customers and clients are or will be, and maybe they don't quite neatly fit into one category.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I'm actually working on a proposal right now. We'll call it a proposal to put together a large set of videos. Let's just call it, like, you know, videos or curriculum that basically caters to everyone. It's very hard because if you're a very advanced developer and you make people go through some of these menial, you know, lessons or videos or things that they already know, a lot of times developers feel insulted that, you know, we would try to teach them these things, and then if you skip a lot of these parts, then, you know, you make the novice user or the beginner, you make them feel kind of lost, right? Because there is a learning curve. There's a learning curve to all of this stuff, and I feel like working in Linux, the learning curve just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like by the day. You want to start getting involved in these types of things, you know, you actually have to really buckle down and put time in to get used to it. So embedded systems is kind of right around there as well. And I want to put together stuff. Me and Sahaj have really been working really hard to try and put together some strong videos. We have a few initiatives in the pipeline that we're hoping to push out in 2019. And from there, you know, we'll see how it goes. But yes, I would definitely like to do some stuff like that. You know, how do you ramp up into embedded systems and working with single board computers in the 96 boards ecosystem, but then also bringing in other boards like Raspberry Pi and BeagleBone, and you know, I think that that's also important. Like, we should compare, but not I like the word like demean. Compare without help me with this vocabulary here.
Judgment.
Yeah, anyway, compare without judging. There you go. Boom. Thanks, Guillermo. I want to compare without judgment, right? And so that's the whole idea, right? Because we don't want people to think that we're against Raspberry Pi or that we're against Arduino. Like we love them. I personally really enjoy them. I work with students on a weekly basis who basically talk about those two boards paving their way into becoming engineers, and that's beautiful, right?
Yeah, we really have our
A suggestion for your videos to get a guideline.
Okay.
Grab one of those students as fresh as you can, one that have never seen Linux before.
Okay.
Set it in front of the computer and start to getting him up. And that will give you the script of how to do these videos, because I went through that already a few weeks ago when I started, okay, now I'm serious. I will load Debian on one of my Dragon boards. And I tell you, I put Daniel to his paces with silly questions, because everything that for all of you guys is obvious and no worth to mention and was space, it was a complete question mark, starting from what of all these files should I need to download? There is no README file on the download page that say, well, to start from scratch, download this if you are going to develop, download this if you are doing an application.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I've been confronted with students, kind of similar to this, in the sense that students who work with Arduino and have worked with Arduino, at least at a college level, end up coming to some of these hackathons that I work with, and they're expecting an IDE. Like, they're expecting to be able to push code from some IDE onto this platform, right? They don't really accept the fact that these boards are running full-fledged desktop versions of Linux, like Debian Linux at that in most cases. And so when you're talking about like building a program, they're baffled that I just open up a terminal, I run Vim, I type out my little C program, I save it, I run GCC to compile it, I get my output, and then I run the program. And they're like, wait, what the heck? That's all you had to do to create a program in C? And I'm like, yeah, like, you've never used GCC before? And there's students that never have done that. They're working with these IDEs that don't teach them, the underlying parts that are actually running the compilations. And so they don't understand about running these programs. They don't get it. And so I'm not saying that it's everyone, but a large amount of college students don't work in terminal. It's weird. They've never done like compiling just based on a text editor compilation, so be surprised. But to your point, Guillermo, yes, that's the perfect way to kind of come up with some curriculum, is finding like a group of students and seeing how they will react to learning this stuff.
Robert?
Yes, sir.
2 more little quick comments, and then I gotta run actually. One, I agree with everything you said, especially about the newbies. Ironically, I'm going back to Los Alamos in the next week or two, which, yeah, I go from kind of, I don't want to be derogatory, but it's rural, it's kind of, it's not Hicksville deep south, but it's not Los Alamos where highest PhDs from Ivy Leagues per capita, you know what I'm saying? But I was stunned, even in little old small town USA right now, at the little coffee shop, there was a kid who works at the grocery store. He self-taught himself Python. I'm blown away. Kid's only like 15. He said, yeah, I just heard about it, and I taught myself Python. I was going, you got to be kidding. And there was a woman today that she's not doing PhD level, hidden Markov model, data mining, but she's doing, application stuff in data mining as a nurse, and I was going, wow. So make this so that the small town USA or Canada or India or wherever, Germany, that, young men or women, whoever they are, they could pick it up and be the next Mark Zuckerberg. We just don't know what's, around the world. And then the second comment is the winningest college football coach in history was Vince Lombardi. Start of every football season, he would say, "Gentlemen, we're getting back to basics." And then he would pull out a football and he'd say, "We're going to basics again. This is a football." So even your, Mad Dog Halls or your who's the James Gosling of Java, they can still use going back to basics once in a while. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox and I gotta run. Have a great day, everybody. I'll listen a little bit, but I gotta run. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I think we're gonna close it out now, anyways, unless anyone has any last words.
Oh, just one more thing to show for everyone who's stuck till now. This is the Wistia board, and this is a solar panel attached to the Wistia board because it has solar charging enabled. And here's an 18650. So right now it's completely independent and working. Now I still haven't tried the WAN stuff on it yet, but you should see the LED blinking technically. I don't know if it's getting on camera, but yeah, there it is. So it's like completely independent. It should recharge itself. I haven't tested the solar panel yet, but yeah.
Nice. Thanks, Sahaj. All right. Well, it's time for us to close this out. Everyone, thank you for joining. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us on our mini @96 Sports social media channels or @SD Robert W. S as in San, D as in Diego. So we'll see you next time. Episode 127 is coming up fast. Actually, I should say, what are we going to even cover next week? Let me open that up real quick. Oops, wrong document. I'm always doing this. I should be ready for this, having this open. Next week, we will be talking with, based on what I have here, and I'm still waiting for the confirmation, we're going to be hopefully interviewing the winners from the ARM robotics competition. Now, this might get moved to early January. And if it does get moved to early January, Sahaj, we're going to do a Sahaj takeover where we'll cover some demos. Maybe Mani will come in here and talk about some of the stuff he's working on. And I will unbox the remaining, I will unbox the remaining boards that I have here to share with y'all. So
do we announce the platform change yet, or do we wait to test it?
Platform change? Oh, let's announce that next week.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. You can go ahead and turn off the YouTube now. Sahaj, I'm going to stop the recording.
All right. Bye, YouTube.
Yes.
Recording has stopped.